In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Century Wings SR-71 Blackbird. This is actually a 1/72 scale diecast model, and it is the Rapid Rabbit 1972 version. You can see a little bunny right there. The box itself is pretty plain. There's not much to it. It's stealth, just like the Blackbird. So we're going to go ahead and get to the unboxing. All right, so you just have this tab on the bottom here. Looks like we got some styrofoam packaging. Looks like it's sealed pretty well. It does have some tape around the edges there. And then on the top, we have, looks like a book, maybe some instructions. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. And a card. That's pretty cool. And then I went ahead and cut the tape off already. So it was taped and packaged very well. And this styrofoam box does a pretty good job. And it does come with a stand, which I love. However, the stand's not metal. So we'll see how that turns out because this does feel pretty heavy. It's solid die cast, except for, I think, these parts right here. So let's see what we got in the box. So this package here looks like it has the gear in the down position. And there's the nose gear as well. And it looks like there's one more thing right here. Looks like an extra nose. I don't know if there's a pitot tube in the front, but that's what that is. So I like that they gave you an extra one because these things are usually pretty fragile. Okay, first impressions, guys. This thing is big and it's also pretty beefy. It does not feel cheap. Let's give you a quick look around the model. It comes with the pilots already installed, so you don't have to worry about that. But I do like that they do include the pilots. The paint job is amazing. I really like this paint job. It's a really clean paint job. I like that you can see the lines. Very good. So yeah, first impression is pretty good. Okay, so here's everything that came in the box. And first we'll go ahead and take a look at these instructions here. So I do like that they're color instructions, and it does show the pilots going in and out. So I'm not sure if my model, they just came with them installed, or if it's just showing that you can take them out. But it's showing here we have the stand, how to install it, the cover here for the gear, and then that's pretty much it. I thought it was a booklet, but it's not. And then next up, we actually have this cool little card. So I like that Century Wings does this. Some other manufacturers do it as well. I know Forces of Valor does with some of their tanks. But I just think it's pretty cool. If you want to showcase this and display it, you could set the card up. But I'll show you real quick what it says. USAF 9th SRW, Rapid Rabbit, 1972 Cadena. And then this one here is 930 out of 1,000 pieces. So looks like it was made in May of 2022. Okay, so I'll start off just showing you how to install the gear in the down position. And it does have these covers that come with it. One thing I will say that I like is they include this little tool similar to Hobby Master and these little slots right here and here where you can actually get in and pop it out without breaking it. There we go. Yeah, that was really easy. So this piece comes out like this. And then as far as the gear, they're just going to go in and it just pops in like that. And one thing I do want to point out, and it's also in the instruction manual here, I'll show you real quick how the gear gets installed. You can see these struts are in the back like that. So if you're not familiar with this aircraft, that's how they go. And then let's see if the wheels do spin. They do not. So the wheels are not very detailed. Let me just zoom in and show you. So that could be a little better in my opinion. The gear doors themselves, not a lot of detail down there either. But I know if you're putting this on a stand or if you're displaying it like this, it'll look fine. So now let's get to the front gear. We have the same little slot. We're gonna pop the key in. Be able to get that out. And then for the nose gear, just goes one way like this. I'd say be careful with these doors as you're pushing it down, just because they are a little flimsy, but yeah, let's see. There we go. And one thing I want to point out is the front tires on this aren't coated, but the rear tires are actually coated. That's why they're grayish silver. I believe it was some sort of titanium or something. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I love to find out more information about these models, things I may not know. But I do believe it was for the altitude that this thing would fly at, 80 to 85,000 feet, I think. that it would get so hot up there in the atmosphere that these wheels would explode on landing if they didn't have this coating on it. So definitely interested to know more. If you know more, let me know in the comments, but just show you how it looks real quick with the gear in the down position. And it does stand up. Seems like it's not front or rear heavy, which is nice. So if you want to display it this way, you can confidently. The gear's beefy enough. It is plastic. I think it would have been nice if it was metal, but there you go. I'll just kind of show you around the bottom real quick. Again, the paint job looks good. I don't really like this SR-71 Blackbird here. There's nothing on this side, but I mean, at least you don't see it very well. And I don't see a Century Wings logo anywhere, which I thought was interesting. This is for the stand. I'll get to that in a second, but just show you underneath here. I'm not sure if y'all can actually read that or not. If you know what these mean, let me know in the comments. If any of you have ever worked on an SR-71, I'd love to hear about it. Tell me some stories because I love finding out interesting information. One thing I will say on the top here is this model is split in half, unfortunately. I know that Air Force One makes one as well. I believe it's 1/72 scale. I almost went with that one, but I think that the Century Wings version looks a little better, cleaner, and the paint job, honestly, is pretty much what sold me. I do like this insignia here. But anyways, you can't really tell unless you're staring at it. I mean, like if you're displaying it like this, it does flow pretty evenly. But if you look at it up close, obviously you can see the line. So that is unfortunate. Just a heads up if you're looking to get in this model. Another thing, it came with this little piece right here. And this is basically just a cover for what would be the stand position. So you would push that in all the way if you want to display it with the wheels down. All right, now I'm going to show you a close-up view of the cockpit and the actual pilots. One thing that's really interesting is these pilots had to wear basically a spacesuit that was redesigned for this aircraft. It was pressurized as well, so they literally look like astronauts in there. I'll try to get a better view here in a second, but this doesn't stay up, so the front canopy doesn't stay up all the way. You can kind of pull it up and push it back, and it'll go like that. Same thing with the rear. You kind of lift up. There we go. That one goes a little better. You lift up and go up like that. So here's a close-up view of the cockpit and the pilots, if you're interested, as well as some of the insignia on the side. I'm not sure what this is. Usually it's how many missions you've flown or aircraft you've downed, but this would not be downing any aircraft. So tell me if you know what that is in the comments. And then I'm actually pleased with the cockpit. I think it looks okay. Obviously, when you turn it around and get to the front, you really can't see a lot of information or anything up there. Nothing's painted. I don't see any throttles or sticks, which, I mean, it's fine. You're not going to be really leaving this displayed this way anyways. And if you do, you wouldn't see the stick or throttle. But that's what it looks like. I'm pretty impressed, especially for the scale, how good they did with the paint. And I do like that they did the canopies like this. And I love that you can see the pilot through the window and that they actually did include the pilot, because in some of these models they don't. And I think it just looks so much better. I like all my models to have pilots. So let me see if I can get that front back down. And then I want to show you this too. I believe this is the aerial refueling section here. And it says, keep hands clear. They also did include another one of these that you could just pop out. I like that because it is, I mean, it's plastic, but it's a thinner plastic, so it doesn't look as brittle. I'll show you the engines real quick. This thing was constantly an afterburner, except for when they were refueling. And I think it would fly about 3 times the speed of sound at about 600 degrees Fahrenheit. So the temperatures were crazy extreme on this, especially on the external part of the aircraft here. In fact, it was enough to melt, I believe, aluminum. So this thing had to be made of titanium, by the way. I think it's okay. They could have done a little better job. I mean, at least they put something in there instead of just leaving it blank. I think the Air Force One Model 1 may have been better as far as the engines, but it's definitely good enough for me. So the stand's pretty simple. It's plastic, like I said, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is. Let's see if it holds pretty well. You're just gonna pop it in like that. No screws or anything. And it is a lightweight stand, and you know, it's supposed to go with the model facing this way. So we'll see how it does on the stand. Again, this is a pretty decently beefy model. It's not crazy heavy, but heavy enough to have me worried that this is plastic. Okay, so it fits on the stand pretty good, but let's see how it handles. Okay, you can tell. Definitely wobbly. Not the best as far as stands go. I think it's pretty cool that it's plastic and see-through. So you can kind of just see it as if it was in flight. but again, I don't know that I would trust this if you have it somewhere where you may bump it or kids. All right, so I'd probably rate this one a 9 out of a 10. I really like this model. Unfortunately, I have to knock one off just because of this little section right here. I really wish it was one piece, but I understand die cast, probably the molding was really expensive to do it one piece. However, I do highly recommend this. They have different models that you can buy with paint variants. So if you can find it online, they are limited runs. Don't know if this one's still available or not, but if you ask me in the comments, I'll tell you where I got it. Sometimes they show up on different websites, and if I have that information, I'll share it with you. But yeah, highly recommend it. If you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. Got a lot more videos coming soon. Thank you.